live shark for the ecotourism industry. Liz, would you like to?
I just wanted to make one more point. It's kind of going off in a totally different direction, but I just wanted to draw attention also to youth. I think that a lot of young people have felt a lot of impacts over the last few years, and particularly eco-anxiety, I know in Australia is something that we're all really dealing with. I just can't say how important it is to really find ways to help youth feel that they have a voice and that they can be part of a solution, a part of some part of the solution. And to that extent, in Australia, sport is a very big thing. A lot of our kids play community sport. And so we started the Sustainable Sports Program. And youth are invited to be youth ambassadors. We have about 20,000 now. And they're all invited to do something of leadership. Many of them help go and clean up the beach or clean up the bush once a year. And we also recycle all sports gear so that when they've played in their soccer boots for one season and their feet have grown, those soccer boots get donated on, particularly to Indigenous youth mental health programs. So we close the loop on that. But these young people can be as young as 5 or 6. I did a live cross with them while I was here just to tell them about the fact that, what it was like to be at the UN Oceans Conference and people I'd met, and that Aquaman was here. They all thought that was awesome. But also to tell them some positive things that were happening. And they're all out there about to do a bush and beach cleanup in 2 weeks. I think whatever it is that you can do with young people, it's just so important to include them in some sort of dialogue or include them in some sort of action that they feel that they can take part of, and that they feel really good that they're doing one little thing that can help make a difference. So I just want to stress that we work at many levels and many layers, but please don't forget the youth, because I think that the young people coming forward will really be the game changers, and we are setting up a structure, I hope, for them. But it's the next generation. They're growing up with the problems, they're learning about them, they're being educated about them, they're being taught about school. I think they're coming through with a different consciousness to the generation that is currently in those decision-making processes. So I just really want to emphasise how much we need to be mentors to them, we need to nurture them and make sure that they come through this, because they will be the game changers. That's my belief.
If I just can, speaking of youth and children, it just came to my mind because children are now very interested in going and observing cetaceans, whales and dolphins in the sea. And so it reminded me also of this pledge of course, these are very, very nice activities because whale watching provides, of course, a contact with the animals and in their own habitats, their natural habitats. But if you consider do that with your children and do that in, how to say, responsible way. And also ACCOBAMS, we have a code of conduct and we have a label. There are ACCOBAMS labeled operators that are those operators that do whale watching and do cruises to observe cetaceans, but in the respect of their lives, not getting too much close to cetaceans, not harassing the animals, and not being too many boats around the animals at the same time. So in the respect for the wildlife, that's very important. And of course the code of conduct completely eliminates the swimming with dolphins. And I know there is also a tendency, there's a very nice thing to do with children, swimming with dolphins. Dolphins are not, they are wild animals. They are there to live their lives, not to be, to please humans. And if they want to contact us in their own habitats, they will look for that themselves. And we don't need to go and chase them and harass them. So that would be my pledge. So to make these, how to say, pass this information on to children, although it might be very appealing to swim with cetaceans, it's better to visit them in their natural habitats and be ready if they want to socialize with us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Susana. Okay, well, we're 5 minutes away from closing. Do you have any last questions? Or I'll just ask. I was going to ask our speakers to do some last minute, some last closing remarks, or do we have some very quick question? So we close right on time. Christina, do you have any question? No.
She should make a comment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hi, I want to congratulate the panel. Thank you so much, João. I don't want to do any question. I just want to tell that each of you are indeed people so important in these matters. You are making already a difference. I'm sorry to disagree with you, Liz. It's not only the next generation, you are already making it, and thank God. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Christina and Liz.
I just wanted to say that some people won't know, but Christina has been working behind the scenes all week. She's been putting together so many panels, and I'd just like everybody to give her a round of appreciation. And I think we've said most of the things that need to be said, but I think it's really important that we amplify and turn up the dialogue, the sound on what is happening, so that people really understand both the time and the impact and the sense of urgency. But on the same side, we also need to provide people with solutions. And, you know, like it's like a recipe. If you say to somebody, make something, they'll say, can you give me the recipe? Oh, great. Okay, now I know how to do it. And I think that at the community level, it's really important that we do provide community with some very simple solutions, but ones that will be impactful. I know that I went out to Exeter University and I said when I was doing a TEDx talk, I just need one thing that we could all do that would make a difference. And if you tell me recycling, I'm not going to say that. And I went back a month later and they said, we ran the numbers, and if everybody on the planet could work out what their carbon footprint was, and they could reduce it just by 5%, that would make a tremendous difference to the impact that we're having, because we have a certain amount of carbon that we can use up this century to stay at under 2 degrees. And at the moment, we'll hit that in 2028, so we won't even be halfway through the century. So really understanding our own personal carbon footprint and thinking what impact we have and how we can change that goes a long way at a singular level that then multiplies to a community level, which means that we can have a grassroots approach as well as business, as well as government. So I think I would like to say, really don't think that you can't be part of the solution, and that each one of us has a role to play, and we need to multiply that.
Yeah, Liz, I couldn't agree more with you. I subscribe entirely your words, but and I also think that it's about the present generations, like Christina said, and the future generations, and the efforts. We all have this individual responsibility with the information that we have. Then the information available is overwhelming, so we cannot complain that we don't have the data or the information that will put us on the right path. So we have those means. So we also have the responsibility of providing the children and the young generations with those sources of information, so that they can do responsible and informed choices by themselves. So I think that's the role that each of us have to play, because in terms of formal organizations, in terms of the patchwork of international organizations, regional organizations and associations, there are already a lot of mechanisms in place, and on that hand of the governance, I would say that we should not stick to our own mandates, and a dialogue between organizations and between different sectors is of utmost importance, because it even we don't, by communicate it, it doesn't mean that we are obliged to change our objectives. It just means that we are more informed about what the others are doing, and that information can also help shaping the measures that we are taking in our own role, in our own remit of competence. So I think that dialogue, communication is of utmost importance and crucial. Thank you very much.
For a light piece of note as I pass the mic back, when I came back from Antarctica, I was so moved by everything I saw. I walked into the house, I said, right, what are we going to do? We've got to reduce our carbon footprint. The dryer, it uses up the most energy in the house. I had a busy household of 5, 3 kids playing soccer 4 times a week. I disconnected the dryer. It's never been connected since, and they all learnt to live with it.
Very nice. Well, that's a big one. Well done. Okay, well, let me just thank everybody. Thank Liz, thank Susana, thank Cristina again for putting all this together. Thank you, lovely people who are here on a Friday until 7. Thank you especially Inez and Carla for your amazing questions. And thank you everybody, and have a great weekend.